Have you ever cried in front of a stranger? 12 hours into my shift at the ER, I slumped down in the break room, my scrubs soaked in blood that wasn't mine. I was just a janitor, not trained for trauma, but tonight, they'd asked me to mop up after a teenager with a bullet wound who didn't make it. It was the second time that week. As I wiped sweat from my forehead, trying to forget what I'd just seen, a nurse burst in crying, muttering something about a code pink, an infant in respiratory failure. I'd been working at General Hospital for 3 years, and I'd learned all the codes by now. Code pink was the worst one. I had no medical training, but I'd seen too much pain up close for someone who was supposed to be invisible. The doctors rushed past me like I wasn't there. The nurses barely looked at me when they needed a room cleaned. I was just the guy with the mop bucket. I quietly slipped out of the break room, back to mopping the endless hallways. The floors never stayed clean long. Blood, tears, coffee spills. It all mixed together by the end of my shift. Around 3 a.m., when the hospital was at its quietest, a woman in her mid-30s entered the lobby. She was holding a baby blanket. Just a blanket. No baby. Her eyes were completely blank. Hair frizzed like she'd been pulling at it. Shirt soaked from milk that had nowhere to go. She sat down on one of those uncomfortable plastic chairs across from where I was changing the trash bags. She looked at me, but not really at me. More like she was looking through me. Then she whispered, so quiet I almost missed it. She didn't wake up. Just didn't. I froze. The trash bag in my hand dropped to the floor with a soft thud. No one else was around. The nurse station was busy dealing with whatever emergency had just come in, and this woman wasn't making any noise. She was just sitting there, quiet, numb. I should have called someone. Should have gotten a nurse or a social worker, but something about the way she was holding that blanket stopped me. I sat down beside her in the empty chair. No clipboard, no stethoscope, no comforting medical phrases I'd heard doctors use. I'm just the janitor, I said softly. Like that explained why I was sitting with her instead of getting help. But she didn't care. She didn't need someone with fancy degrees or medical training. She just needed someone to see her. She started crying then, so hard it looked like she'd fall apart right there in the chair. Her whole body shook. Tears soaked into that little blanket she was clutching. The security guard at the front desk didn't even notice. The few people in the waiting room were lost in their own problems. Just me and her in this bubble of grief. I didn't say much. Didn't know what to say. Instead, I reached into my cart and handed her the cleanest towel I had, one I'd been saving for the really bad spills. She took it and sobbed into the cotton like it was the most precious thing in the world. For 20 minutes, we just sat there, her crying, me watching the hallway, making sure no one disturbed her. After a while, her breathing slowed down. The shaking stopped. That's when someone finally realized she hadn't been checked in. A nurse approached us, all professional concern and paperwork. Ma'am, are you here to see someone? Do you need medical attention? I stood up to let the nurse handle things properly, but as I started to walk away, the woman grabbed my hand, tight, and looked directly into my eyes for the first time. Thank you, she whispered, for seeing me. 3 days later, I came back for another shift and found something stuck in my locker, a white envelope with my name written in shaky handwriting. Inside was a photo of a baby girl wrapped in the same blanket I'd seen that night. Beautiful little face, tiny fingers, eyes closed like she was sleeping. The note was short. Emma Rose, 6 weeks old. You were the only one who didn't treat me like I was invisible. Thank you for sitting with me when the world ended. I stood there in that supply closet holding the picture and cried for the first time in years.